Hello beautiful soul, and welcome to Manifest with me, Rebecca G. I'm your manifestation, meditation and mindset coach who blends equal measures of soul, strategy and a little sprinkle of science on the side. Consider me your modern day pink witch with my spiritual toolbox packed full of ideas to energize and inspire you and to put the action into the law of attraction. Let this podcast be your weekly fix because, my beautiful soul, it is time to turn your vision board into a reality.
Hello beautiful souls, I'm back and I've almost got my voice back. It's been about 3 weeks with no voice, which for my husband has been an absolute dream, but for me, not so good when I wanted to crack on and record a million meditations that I've written, which is something always good comes out of being ill, doesn't it? Or having time out, because not only do I feel refreshed and inspired with new ideas, I got loads of writing time, which I'm often like squeezing in at night time. So today I'm going to talk about how healing and manifestation are linked. So how life can work so energetically for us. And as someone who has experienced deep suffering in my life, and I'm now creating my life beyond my wildest dreams, and I have this unique ability to tap into energetic undercurrents of thoughts and feelings and just really begin to understand spells and rituals a lot more, which I'm bringing a lot more into my Sacred Souls membership. And for myself really as well, I'm really finding that's massively kind of enhancing my manifestations and really helping me connect with the universe more. So I'm finding a real kind of, I guess, witchy side to me, which I know has always been there, but this soul that lives within me, this kind of part of me that's connected to the world and the universe. It sounds so like woo-woo and out there, but I really feel just so more connected than I ever have since doing all these rituals and spells. And I mean, I've been doing the winter solstice ones and summer ones, and I've been doing the odd manifestation ones throughout the year, like New Year's and things like that. The egg ritual, which I do quite a lot with the group, but really diving deep into researching spells and rituals and actually making a lot of my own concoctions over the last coming weeks as well, which is so exciting. I'm so excited to bring that into the group next year. So manifesting at the most basic of levels is about receiving the desire and the vision that your heart has or your mind has for you. And it's completely unclouded by any doubts or fears that are in your mind. So anything like past pain, you need to go back and work on that, by the way, if there's anything that's coming up like fears and doubts. And then working with your emotions and your intuition and the universe itself to create these desires in, the 3D world. And it's this profoundly beautiful process of leaning into whatever future version of you that you're trying to access, tapping into this alignment, and then your desire will manifest so quickly when you're in alignment. Now, we hear this word a lot about getting in alignment and being high vibe. And I'm going to say to you next year, we've got our first call of the year. By the way, by the time this airs, it probably would have already gone. So the second, we're doing our first intuition call, manifesting and goal setting. And what I'm going to say to the girls on that call actually is what I want you to do this year is make your number one goal to get rid of any self-limiting beliefs, any doubts, so that you can just leapfrog into the future version that you desire. Because at this present time that you're thinking about of what you're wanting to create in your life, however big that is, and I hope your manifestations are scaring the hell out of you and they are mental and crazy and you're like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm thinking that. Yes, that's whatever is being placed in your mind and your heart is being placed there for a reason. And the only thing that matters is that you feel calm and you feel certainty around your goal. And if you don't, you've got to make your number one thing before you start manifesting. You can obviously create manifestations on things you want to achieve in the year, but make your number one goal on your list to get rid of any of those blocks. I've got a free work booklet that you can use, and obviously my 21-day manifesting course is going to be available soon for you to work through any of that. There's a whole week that was the spiritual toolbox was week 2. The week 1 was just clearing the mind, and that was so helpful for so many people that did the course. They were like, oh my God, without that I would never have been able to do all the rituals and things in week 2, because it just wouldn't have felt like things like affirmations and things are an absolute pile of rubbish if you are not dealing with any of those deeper demons. So just want to get that out there. Anyway, so as you connect to your goals and you're receiving this, you start to receive this inspired guidance to move forward. And the key part of manifesting, of any vision that you're trying to create is to tune into the emotion of it already being real. So it already feels like you've got it. And you will know when you're in that place, because when you start to think about it, you're like, you just get excited. Like I get tingles. I feel like I need to go for a number 2 sometimes. Like it gets that exciting. Like sometimes I can cry, and you're not always going to have those massive emotions, but the closer you are towards it, and also the more clearing that you do. I'm just realising now my voice isn't back, is it? This is not my voice. I've still got the old little croak going on there, a little hint of a croakiness. But anyway, we're going to power through. We're going to keep going. So as I have manifested, and I've talked about this before, my beautiful soulmate, I've manifested amazing clients. I've definitely manifested all my Christmas boxes selling out, which was awesome. Like they sold out within like the first, just over Black Friday. I think I had 2 left that I kept by for friends and family. And then I ended up selling them on the Boxing Day sale. So good that I actually sold everything. And I manifested that as well. So what is it that's calling you? What is it that's calling you to bring in? Is it a soulmate? Is it more money? Is it a business opportunity? Whatever it is. And I want you to connect so deeply. I want you to connect so deeply to this power that you have within you. And I want to help guide you through this year, especially in the membership group. I'm going to be doing it a lot on the podcast as well. You're going to get loads on here. But the women that are coming through to the Sacred Souls, I feel like they're coming to me at such a special time in their life, and also in mine as well, because it's almost like seeing old versions of myself coming into the group. So I'm always like, oh my God, I totally know where you're at. And I always think, oh, we're always meant to go through things in life because to be able to help other people. And and when a time is done, when they've manifested that thing, they're going to come into the next thing. And I love showing these people that releasing all the smallness that we have in our life, releasing that kind of whatever we're holding back and whatever we're telling ourselves, allows us to create these incredible manifestations in our life. And if you don't believe in it, if you just jumped on my podcast, then this shit is real. Honestly, like the more you tap into this stuff and the more spiritual you become, the happier your life will freaking be. Honestly, can you imagine that they taught this in schools? Like, I would love that. Imagine that, being a teacher in school. It doesn't reflect any joy or brilliance and prosperity if in this moment of yours, you're still trapped in that place of, oh, when's it going to happen? Or, oh, it's the unknown, or, oh, it's the painful like side of me that I don't want to work on. If you're still in that, then get off this podcast and go work on yourself. Literally, go and Google tapping, meditation, gratitude. Like, seriously, go and Google my course. You need my course. Seriously, you're gonna need it. It's so good for clearing all the blocks. But anyway, when you do this, you can leap. You can literally soar into the stratosphere. And this journey that we're on together, because we're all on it together, this powerful moment when you decide that you're ready for more in your life or you're sick of what you've got, I hold space for that. I hold space for all of them in the group, and I help them, guide them through this journey and just watch them grow. And it honestly brings me to tears every time when I hear people messaging me, even from the podcast. I've had loads of you message recently saying, oh my God, the one I did recently about women's circles, it literally hit me on a truth level, like a level that, I think the emails I've got from people are stuff I've never ever had before, like the type of wording people have used. It was really beautiful. And there is this sense of us unlocking something within us. And when you get so clear on your desire, not only how it's going to serve you, but how it's going to serve the world, how it's that real, true, deep reason for you longing this desire. When you get so connected to this and you work through the doubts and the fears and the limitations, eventually there won't be any left, and you can release this pain and you connect on a deeper level to the planet, to spirituality, to women around you, especially in our group. I feel like it feels like I'm doing a plug for the Sacred Skulls, but fuck it, yes I am, because it's going to be epic. But you will connect to this because there is this beautiful point where you get goosebumps, and I get goosebumps now when I'm speaking about this on this podcast. And on YouTube, if you're watching the video, and it's done, it's out in that spiritual realm. And it's a matter of time until it shows up in the material world. Just say that to yourself. It's a matter of time until it shows up in the material world. And this is such a beautiful thing when you feel yourself, like you're supporting yourself, you feel like you trust in yourself, you feel like you're calling in this desire, but you're co-creating with the universe. And we search our hearts and our souls for this true deep desire of what we're supposed to be doing in life, what we're supposed to be here for. If you're in that place and you don't know, then just start by working within. Start by looking at where you get agitated, what things annoy you, why are you snapping at your kids, why are you angry with your husband, why are you pissed off with your own life, why haven't you got any money? Okay, get to the root of those reasons, and then energy will start flowing in, and it's a shift-like response, and then you start surfing this wave of happiness. It's beautiful. And lying in my bed recently, I literally had like 6 days in my bed with strep A. I've never, ever, ever had a closed throat like that before. I literally couldn't even swallow. It was mental. But I felt a power. I felt so calm, and like I needed to just lay there and be still. And I couldn't even see Harley. That was the worst thing. That got me quite upset a few times. I did begin crying a few times because I couldn't see my little boy. I wasn't allowed near him. Rightly so, with all the strep A like worry going around at the moment. Even though strep A has been here for years, and I know from my nursing side, like a lot of kids get strep A and they get over it. But even me, I was just a bit like, oh, that's worrying me a little bit. Let's just, keep him with daddy downstairs. But I had this moment, this kind of overwhelming feeling of healing and manifestation, and me being led there thinking, what is the reason? I always know there's a reason why we get ill. It's to plonk us on our bums and make us listen. And I have to literally go within and listen to my guides and what was telling me. And the messages I was getting from my guides was like, we haven't seen you in a long time. My guides talk to me like an old mate that you haven't seen in ages, but you always have a good crack, and you could probably see them like once a year, even though I'm not going to see my guides once a year. And you just catch up and it's like banter. This is what my guides are like with me. They're like, oh, hi. Yeah, do you remember us? Like, nice of you to check in. And it was in that moment where I haven't got any words to really explain this, but it was this deep soul connection. And it was just them telling me, you're meant to rest now because next year is going to be super full on and super busy. And all the messages that came out of this kind of little meditation that I was doing as well was that you need to step more into rituals and spells because this is what the group are wanting. And I tested it a few times in the free Facebook group that we've got, and everyone was like, we love the spells. Oh my God, it's so fun. Because I don't want people to think it's dark and, weird rituals and spells and things like that, because it's not. There's a beautiful side to this. And when I did a past life regression, it's what I was doing many, many years ago in the 1800s when I went right back as a little girl in the 1800s. It was so fascinating to see that actually I was learning from my mum, and she taught me about herbs and things from the land. And that's where I went into nursing later on in life because I had that connection with healing people, but also healthy witchcraft and healthy spells and rituals and things that we used to do. And I spoke about it a bit on the Women's Circle podcast episode, where we've been doing this for centuries on the full moon. We've been doing it on the new moon. We've been doing rituals and spells for many, many years. But me bringing it back into calling myself the Pink Witch, bringing it into a lighter space and more fun and energetic space, and just for people to do it and feel like this feels fun and good, because when it's feeling fun and happy and positive, you're going to manifest even easier. So that was my message that came through from it. So I've totally gone off topic today because I was wanting to talk about healing, but we're going to talk about that now anyway. So my understanding of the process of healing and manifestation is that we are born into this world completely pure, soulful beings. And as we grow older, we navigate this crazy old world, don't we, through our families or schools, interacting with human beings or whoever brought you up as a child. Things can happen. Painful things happen, and it can be seemingly insignificant, like kids laughing at you when you were little, or a little dig that you have a different coloured skin, or you are a certain hair colour, or you are a certain size of your body. I was always teased because I was tall. I used to get called lanky, which I never cared. It's funny, when I was little, I didn't care about that. It was other things that bothered me, which I'll talk about in a second. But there were other things as well that could have happened in your life, like any trauma or abuse, whatever it is. We navigate this as children and then into adult world, and we experience pain. And in the moment of experiencing any pain or hurtful thoughts or words that have been said towards you, you're this or you're that, or then you start to think, oh, should I ask for things because my needs are too much? Or is my idea stupid because I've been told such and such in class by a teacher, I've been told to be quiet, or maybe you're not heard in your home where you're living. Maybe you were part of a big family, for example, like I was, and you always thought you weren't smart or you weren't talented or you weren't beautiful, whatever it is. Because we're little, we have no idea what's going on. So we identify with whatever thoughts and whatever words are being spoken in that time, normally between the age of 0 to 7, we think they're true. And they become our identity, our idea of who we are, and they control how we move through life. And when people believe this identity and these thoughts that they keep with them like a suitcase or like a backpack, they don't fully process and release the emotion. So can you imagine everybody in the world doing inner child work, or shadow work as it's often known? So just to back up for a little second here, emotions are energy in motion, and they're designed to flow through you. However you resist them, or however you attach them to yourself, they just get stuck in your energetic body. And when a painful experience happens and you identify with the resulting thoughts like I'm wrong, too much, or I'm not good enough, this attachment to these experiences prevents the emotion from fully moving through your body. And as a result, these beliefs become literally encoded in your energetic body, and they are charged up with pain. So over time, the emotional energy accumulates. So it's never really releasing. It's creating depression, anger, anxiety, and in so many people, lots of physical and emotional pain too, which can manifest into illnesses and ailments. And this is so true in the cause of depression and mood disorders. Not, the chemical imbalance theory made up by pharmaceutical companies, which I hear about a lot. And I'm not saying there is totally a place for medication. Of course there is. My father, who suffered massively with mental health, needed medication for a while and needed psychiatric help, and then went on to come out the other side and was great because he did mindfulness. Now there's a real side to me that is a nurse, some of you know, and I'm massively pro medication, but also medication is like sticking a plaster on a wound. You have to eventually rip that wound off and get to the core of what's going on underneath. But meanwhile, this kind of perception of how life works is coloured at the moment, if you're going through all these, by painful beliefs that are not true about yourself. But you think they're true, and this programming becomes like a filter through which you can see your own reality in your life. And this happened for so many people, including myself at some point. But it controls your daily thoughts, it controls your baseline emotions and your actions, and most importantly, the actions that you don't take in life. The things that you don't go for because of, you end up recreating painful situations, feelings and thoughts over and over and over again in your mind, and that validates your world. So you think, this is how life is, my life's shit, this is what I've been given, this is what I was brought up with, like this is what my family told me, this is what my parents told me, this is what my teachers told me. It's just programming. So when you change your beliefs about yourself and how life works, you can raise your expectations. You can start to believe that you deserve all that you desire. And everything fucking changes when you do this. And this is the healing and the manifestation work that I do with my clients. And also in my membership community, which will be next year, quite a lot of this healing stuff I'm going to do, because people sometimes say they don't have time for healing, or I haven't got time to do any manifestation. But you don't have to have heaps and heaps of time. You just have to be intentional about your potential, because you don't have to work heaps harder. You don't have to work hard for a result that you haven't seen yet. You just have to work on yourself. And that doesn't appeal to so many people because it is sometimes quite hard. It is sometimes quite painful. And that healing and that inner work, without doing this inner work, without doing this work to create manifestations, these pains and these related beliefs will continue to control your life, and they will make it difficult for you to believe in anything positive about yourself or your life, because these fear-based beliefs are encoded in your body. And this is like, imagine a plank of wood and there's like bits of splinters coming off. Like, this is literally what it's like inside of you. Like, you just start chipping away at all the bits, and then literally you can just fucking burn the log. It's that fucking powerful. When you start to work on yourself, when you have a willingness to believe in yourself, when you have a willingness to take risks, when you have a willingness to fucking follow your dreams. Sorry, I'm swearing loads today. I'm really passionate about the subject. Then many people end up just having the most, I can't get my words out today, having the most insane lives, because so many people are fighting their thoughts and their emotions at the moment and spending time crying and raging. And it's not from a sense of, I don't know, they just can't be bothered anymore. It's not from a sense of healing and releasing. Instead, it's from a sense of believing the fear-based story of the past, the fear-based emotions of the past, which is linked to those past experiences that were created so long ago. And healing and manifestation is about seeking your truth. The truth is that you are divine, you are beautiful, you are a beautiful soul made up of infinite creative potential. And you, my darling, listening to this, is beyond worthy. You are beyond lovable. You are beyond fucking capable in creating anything that your heart desires. And anybody that says anything else is a freaking lie, because this healing process that I will guide you through, it just identifies the exact moment when painful emotions and fear-based beliefs were created. So it doesn't matter how seemingly you think it's unrelated to your life. I develop what's called a precise, powerful process. So this helps people, allow me to guide them through these memories, release the pain, and it allows them to kind of receive more happiness in their life. And that's generally what we're looking for. We need more happiness. We need more joy. The higher we can raise our vibration, the easier we can create new beliefs. And this process of healing and manifestation are so intertwined. They come together. This is so involved because can you feel how powerful this is even now? Just you thinking about it, you're like, oh God, I've got all these thoughts and feelings and this fear-based stuff that I've got going on from either my childhood or a partner that I was with. Some people in their minds will be like, I don't know if I can handle that. But I'm telling you now, the best place to start is my free guided meditation called Cut the Cord. So it's on YouTube, it's on my Vimeo channel. I think I've just shut Vimeo down recently actually because I'm not using it anymore, but it's definitely on there. And it's also on my website as well. I think it's on my website to buy. So go to YouTube because it's free on there and it will always be free on there. But honestly, I barely recognize myself anymore from the woman that I was like 10 years ago. I mean, more so now than ever before, because for so long, my dreams of making a living and creating goals and earning money and having freedom, all of that stuff to do whatever the hell I want, felt so far away from me. And even today, my husband and I were having a little chat about how I love it that we still get to go Christmas shopping together, or we still get to like, should we go to London in January, which we're going to do. We're going to go for a couple of nights in January. And like, I just feel so freaking blessed. And I'm like, God, if I hadn't had that belief in myself, I hadn't done the work on myself, and I hadn't manifested this epic life, imagine how stressed I would be working as a nurse now still, like running around the NHS, like, well, I was a lot skinnier then, so maybe I'm joking. Definitely be a lot thinner if I was still a nurse now, I'm joking. But I always had this calling to do something else, like spiritual. I always had this calling within me. And whenever the nurses at work would like be slightly spiritual, I'd be like, oh my God, you're into this as well. And we'd have like a full-on chat. I remember this one nurse called Jenny on night shift. We would always chat about witchy stuff. It was like, she was my favourite nurse to work with. And she was like, you have to do this as a job. Like, it's your calling. And by the way, this was like 25 years ago when it was not cool to be talking about this stuff. I was like, no way, I'm not going to go online and talk about this. Like, Facebook was just about posting then. I think you could put pictures on, but no videos. But yeah, I was definitely not into it then. But anyway, I, over the years, slowly had signs and signals come to me, and I just stepped into that power. And you will be getting signals and signs right now as to what is right and isn't right in your life. So if you're not happy in your job, if you're driving to work and you're not liking it, I'm not saying you have to quit your job. Absolutely not. I couldn't quit my nursing until I had other stuff set up. I never ever advise people doing that, by the way, unless you are like, I don't know, on the brink of a book deal or something. But literally make sure you've got your ducks lined up, especially in this climate at the moment. I would never be advising that to people, to just like quit the job and like go follow your dreams and then be absolutely skint and not be able to feed your family. No, I'm not about that. But what I am saying is, when you're home, making those decisions to get up earlier, so you're raising your vibration, making the decisions that when your kids are in bed, have some time with your partner, of course, but also gifting yourself some freaking time so that you can get to work on your dreams as well. Because it doesn't matter how much pain you've had in your past, it doesn't matter what has happened to you, you can release that pain. It's not who you are. It doesn't define you. And I've had some horrendous things happen in my life, with some sexual abuse that happened when I was on holiday. I'm not going to go into that now. It's too painful to talk about. I have dealt with it, but I just don't want to talk about it on the podcast. It's too brutal. But stuff that happened to me, I had inner child things that I had to deal with, like my mum and dad breaking up, and my dad was into drugs and all that jazz. Like, I had to deal with a lot of stuff, and that was still kind of unresolved pain, even till a couple of years ago, that I had to deal with. But when you understand your fears, you understand the needs of the hurting inner child, it no longer holds you back, and you become so fucking powerful. You become so good at healing yourself. I got really stressed with my husband because I'd like bought all the Christmas presents and he hadn't bought any, and he was like, you told me you wanted to buy them all. And I was like, I realised why I was getting triggered, because my dad used to forget, he still does now, our birthdays and Christmases all the time. When my mum and dad broke up, he used to forget. And I was getting triggered by my husband, like, not buying the presents. And I was like, oh my God, I need to do some work on this. Like, literally. And he was like, why are you getting so cross? I was like, yeah, I was getting a bit grumpy with him, but all good. Dealt with it now. He's now got the job of wrapping the presents, which is way worse. If you're like me, I wrap presents like a 5-year-old. Literally, they're so bad. My mum once said to me, she said, God, can you imagine that you have an aesthetic clinic, by the way, just set the story up. She said, if you did people's faces like you wrapped presents, nobody would come to see you at your clinic. I was like, oh, so bad. Like, please know that if you do visit my aesthetic clinic, I do look after people and their faces are amazing. Nothing like my Christmas presents. Anyway, so most of our life is pretty mundane. It's just that humans are forever projecting their own crap onto us and anything meaningless onto us and giving us a ton of stuff to deal with in a situation. And everything to do with what they think the situation says about who they are is based on their past pains and fear-based beliefs. So if you, for example, come up against a friend or a work colleague or someone who is like literally attacking you for no reason, just be so calm in that moment and know, don't take it personally, don't take it in, don't absorb their energy, put yourself in a bubble, because just know this is what they're doing, is projecting their past pain and fear-based beliefs onto you. So this is where the healing and the manifestation gets really cool, because we are energetic beings. Emotions are just energy in motion. And when past pain no longer consumes your energy, when you no longer continue to recreate past painful experiences based on fear-based beliefs that aren't true really, this frees your immense energy for so much magical creation. So you can now apply all of your positive energy towards feeling into the reality that you are wanting to create. Does that make sense? So you're starting to feel like your manifestations are in the present moment already. So there's nothing blocking you at your core, at your soul, and this unlimited kind of creative potential. You like tap into this infinite source energy. It's powerful. So your energy is no longer wasted in any pain or conflict or anger, but it's just available for pleasure and power. How fucking epic is that? So if you've been giving your power away, if you've been feeling like you're being confronted, or if you're reacting really quickly, think about it for a second. You will find your truth here. We always get what we believe we deserve, because you are not a victim of any circumstance that's happened to you in your life. You are a powerful creator with the ability to manifest anything you freaking want, as long as you do this inner work. So I hope I've explained that healing and manifestation and how powerful this is can come together so magically. And if you're still stuck with this, then check out the Sacred Souls membership, because it's going to be absolutely freaking perfect for you. Anyway, have a beautiful week. Mwah. Love you all, and sorry about the croakies. I will definitely be editing the coughs out of this podcast episode today. Have a great week ahead, and I look forward to catching up with you next week. Bye, guys.
Thank you so much for tuning in today. I'm sending you a huge virtual squishy hug, and I hope today's episode has helped giving you some inspiration, energy, and a light bulb moment. So do share your light bulbs or any takeaways you've had on your socials and tag me in, as I absolutely love to hear from you. So if you love to share, you are going to love my giveaway. Every month I'm running a new competition to win a large moon box packed full of crystals, candles, affirmation cards, incense, my Love Yourself to the Moon and Back journal, and a real surprise of spiritual treats that change every month. So listen up if you want to win and get your hands on this, because all you have to do is, number 1, leave a rating and review on Apple Podcasts. Number 2, tag me on your socials with either a post, video or story of your top takeaway of that specific episode. Be sure to tag me in as @Welstead-Green so that I see it, and you'll be entered into my free prize draw. So from my heart to yours, lots of love to the moon and back. Have a fabulous week, beautiful, and I can't wait to spend time with you again next week. Mwah!